West Ham United embark on their third segment of the FA Cup campaign of the season. We've beaten QPR, we've beaten Burton, and Brentford stand in our way next on the route to Wembley. Can we overcome the Bees, or will they get one over us once again, as they seem to every season? It is an intriguing tie, and it will cap off the FA Cup fifth round, and we will know the quarter-final opponent before we play Brentford on Monday evening. Sam is here to discuss the game with me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. I have been faithful all day, and I've been voted out and killed when I all the way through voted for a traitor. All 4 round tables, Sam, I voted for a traitor and nobody listened to me, and I got voted out. Your thoughts on that, first of all?
I've seen the video evidence that you were a faithful, and I'm still not 100% satisfied that you were genuinely a faithful. No, it looks like it was a really good day. Looks like it's a good experience to go and do.
It is. This is not paid for. I wish it was. The Traitors Experience in London, an excellent day that I had today. But more pressing matters lay ahead of us. Brentford on Monday evening. Sam, let me just gauge your thoughts on this in the sense of where the priorities are, because I've seen a couple of people begin to start the conversation about, should we rest players like we did against Burton? Should we go full strength? We're 2 games away from Wembley, but we're also in a relegation battle. Where do you stand in the terms of priorities with this game?
I think the most important thing is that whatever happens, we don't lose the momentum that we've built. And I think we go back to where this momentum started. When do we start playing better? When do we start picking up results? And we have to go back to that
FA
QPR
Cup
game.
Yeah.
And I remember being there, QPR equalised, and the people next to me went, "We look like a team that's forgotten how to win." And it was absolutely true. We'd come off the back of the terrible defeat against Forest, the defeat against Wolves, those other defeats we had over Christmas. And we did. We looked like a team that had forgotten how to win a game. And look, we dragged it out through extra time. But since that, we haven't looked back. And I think that shows quite what the FA Cup can do for teams down the bottom. It's us and us alone now, I think, that are still there from the teams that are sort of down there scrapping with us. So I think it's important, but if the choice is we stay up or we go through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, I'm taking us staying up. If it's, do we stay up or do we win the FA Cup? I'm probably saying we're going to stay up over, even though it's silverware. But I do think it's an important game. I don't think we're going to see those wholesale changes that we saw against Burton. I think it's going to be more like what we saw against QPR, with sort of more like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, the ramifications of going down are astronomical. We know that it's going to be painful if we do. And it's hard for us to sit here and say we'd rather stay up than win the FA Cup. But unfortunately, with the current position of the football club, our choice is almost made for us, in the sense of that staying up is essential for West Ham this season. And of course, this is a big game on Monday night. Now, my next question has got a caveat to it, purely because the QPR game revolutionised our season. We did, as you said, the exact phrase, we forgot how to win. And somehow that day we remembered how to win, and it catapulted us on, and we had a good run of form as a result of it. So now my question is, in this current situation, when we've got momentum, when we're probably the best team in this relegation battle at the moment, I'd argue, is this an unwelcome distraction where we'd rather just be, piling through the Premier League games and picking up points? Is this unhelpful in the sense of, if we win, everyone's going to be jubilant, but it still doesn't support or help our current relegation position?
I think if we were next weekend playing Wolves, or we were playing Forest again, or someone that's right down there, I think this could be seen as an unwelcome distraction. We're playing Man City, and it's another one of those games where we've got a free hit. I know Forest got something out of their game against them, but ultimately it's a free hit. And I think in a lot of ways, when we're playing as well as we have been, even against Liverpool, I wasn't there, but all the feedback of is we played well. There was just some defensive errors. We weren't as sharp as we have been. We still played well Nuno even alluded to that after the Fulham game. I think we would rather be playing games of football and staying sharp and staying in mind than Tottenham, for example. And I'm being careful not to slag off Tottenham too much because it will kick us in the face if we start saying they're relegated. They'll win every game between now and the end of the season. But a team like Tottenham, who lost midweek from a winning position, and we all know what that feels like, but also had to watch their fans all walk out the stadium. And we were there. We were there back in December. We were there as West Ham fans. Everyone leaving the stadium after 40 minutes. The game against Chelsea, and that was right at the beginning of the season, sort of springs to mind. I think we would rather be playing than sat around the dressing room, sat around the training ground, reflecting on what could have been, reflecting on, is the manager going to get sacked? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? We've pulled the trigger around the manager thing, and hey, we all have. Forest more than most, but we've all done that down the bottom now. And some of us have had an impact and some of us hadn't. And I wouldn't want to be sat round if I was a player looking round and going, hey, who's letting us down? Who's letting us down? I think I'd rather be out there on the pitch. But if we pick up an injury, 2 injuries, 3 injuries, another silly red card, that totally changes. We've got to get this through unscathed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, put yourself in Tottenham's shoes this weekend, a club that is completely and utterly dejected. The fans are almost accepting relegation. You know, I've seen some comments from our Premier League Roundup show guest Sean, who is pretty accepting of their fate at the moment, and he's pretty convinced that they are going to go down, and they've got to wait all the way until next weekend to play and potentially, I don't think they will, but potentially rectify their position. They've got Liverpool next weekend, Spurs, without Van der Ven after he got sent off. So they were leading midweek and then of course lost it. But I think it's quite significant that we're sitting here again on an FA Cup preview, Sam, talking about the relegation situation. It's bigger, right? It's bigger than the FA Cup. Of course, we'd like a cup run. You know, the years when we were happily 8th, 9th, 10th in a cup run, that's what we wanted. We didn't get it. But now we've got the prospect of a cup run, but it's not first sort of, you know, it's not first convenience in this sense. Staying up should be the priority. So we're almost not half-heartedly, but we're secondary looking at it and going, well, I'm me in my own mind, I'm already looking at Saturday against City, which, okay, it's not good for the FA Cup because we all sit here and say the FA Cup should be a brilliant competition and no resting should happen and it should be taken seriously. But the fact and reality of it is that the value of staying up is more than getting to a semi-final or even just a quarter-final. So this game on Monday, okay, it's slightly important, but if we lose, dust ourselves down, and I'd rather we win on Saturday than we win on Monday, I'll be honest.
No, 100%. I think we'd all take the 3 points over the cup run. It's a shame that the draw is so close to kick off because we'll have had to already pick that team. Because if we get Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City in the next round, like, we might as well not bother. Like, we know we're probably going to lose to those teams, and okay, we've given some of them a fight this season. But if we get Fulham, Southampton, Leeds, Norwich, Port Vale, like, we are one game against a team that you'd expect West Ham to beat from Wembley, and that's very different. And I think if we are going to do enough to stay up, and even the Opta computer is now starting to say that it's as likely or not that we will stay up, then wouldn't it be great for the fans who have gone through so much this season to have that night out at Wembley, or whatever time TNT decide it's going to be on? All I know is it won't be 3 p.m. on a Saturday. But it would be such a good thing to have that sort of as a feel-good moment. But yeah, I think a lot would obviously come down to the draw, because if it's away at Arsenal or away at Man City, we know that the chances are that on that weekend we would probably go there with 11 changes, knowing that, you know what, we're better off resting Bowen than taking a risk on a player like him. But let's see. I think we'll see 5-6 changes this weekend. On Monday. And I do think we'll see a lot of Man City changes for the following weekend. They've got Real Madrid, and then a cup final with us sat there in the middle. So I think they'll make a lot of changes for their trip to London, and they're in the middle as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a really tough thing to sort of maneuver and work through in the sense of, I mean, I'm looking out of my window to the Wembley arch here, and my dream has always been to see West Ham play at Wembley and walk down that Wembley arch, although I'll be walking towards maybe what I'll do is if we get to Wembley, I'm going to walk that way and then we just walk down Wembley way just because I want to do that as a West Ham fan, even though I don't need to do it. But my dream has always been to walk down Wembley way as a West Ham fan in a massive game, whether it's a semi-final or a final. I'm not going to be picky about it. That's always been something that's been high up on my list. And to sit here this season and sort of not neglect it, but secondary it, it's a tough thing to do
Mm.
because we've had so many cup runs where we've had a big six team in the first two rounds, and that's been it. But my feeling is that we could, before we even kick a ball on Monday night, we could have, as you said, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, one of those three teams, and then everybody deflates down and the stadium drops and it just becomes an unnecessary night where we lose and it's sort of meager and it's somber and it's not very good. And we don't need that at the moment. But as you said, Sam, if we get a Norwich, Leeds, Bristol City, Port Vale, one of those sides, all of a sudden I'm going to turn to you at 7:20 and go, if we win this, we've got Port Vale or Bristol City in the next round. We're then at Wembley, right? And that is massive, massive for the football club. Last time we were at Wembley was in a playoff final. The last time we were at Wembley before that, I don't even know the last time we played at Wembley before the 2012 Cup final, Sam. So it's a massive sort of, prospect in that sense, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't. It would have been 1980, I think, when we
Exactly.
won.
Yeah, because we played '06 was in Cardiff,
It
wasn't
was
it,
in
or something?
Cardiff.
Or
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So again, so that wasn't played at Wembley. So I mean, West Ham playing at Wembley is a very rare occasion, and beating Brentford, who are on the ropes at the moment. Let's talk about Brentford. They're a side that have done very well this season. A lot of people had them tipped to be in a relegation battle after they lost Thomas Frank and have brought in Keith Andrews. And look at the two parallels between those two managers right now. That will send you laughing for sure. But was embroiled in a very tough game at Burnley a couple of weeks ago, a 4-3 bonkers game. They've slightly tailed off, but we always seem to lose to Brentford, Sam. We've got not a very good record against them. In the cup, we beat them at their place last time out, but in the league, we always seem to struggle against Brentford.
yeah. I was at the terrible game we played against Brentford earlier in the season when we were doing the whole "can Ollie Scars play at right back?" and the answer is no. Experiment.
That was a that was a painful night, wasn't it? Yeah, we
It
were
was
both
it was
there. That was a painful night.
one of the hardest nights I think I've been to. Certainly one of the hardest nights this season. There have been other painful games, but yeah, Brentford. If you look at the last 5 games, they've got the same form as us. They've won the same, lost the same, drawn the same as us. And obviously, we're talking about us and in a really positive light, and we're on the up, and they certainly are on the down within that. We've both drawn 0-0 with Bournemouth in that run as well. And you'd probably say that in terms of those performances, we probably are quite even. I think we're probably at similar positions in terms of clubs. We would like to think we're bigger than Brentford. We should be bigger than Brentford. We should be above Brentford every single season, really. But that's where we are right now. They're a very well run club. And I think we've sort of seen this season, Thomas Frank has gone on to Spurs and got sacked, and we all know about that. But they've managed to sort of continue that trajectory with a new manager in exactly the same way as Brighton did, and they sort of remind me a lot of Brighton. But it really feels like one of those games that is going to be decided on who makes the most mistakes and who capitalises on the other team's mistakes, because both teams are a little bit lacking in that overall like big quality. We've got a little bit, they've got a little bit. We've both got some injuries. We're both going to rest a few players. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think there'll be goals, but I think it will come down to who can capitalise on the mistakes of the other team more, rather than who necessarily sort of goes out and wins the game.
Yeah, I think it also sort of depends on how each team, take it and face it. In the
Mm.
sense of Brentford, they're sliding at the moment. They were in a very good European, contention position, but they've slid in the last couple of weeks. So have they almost accepted that Europe is just a step too far? I mean, to be fair, they're probably looking at the teams in Europe and going, well, maybe we want to steer clear of that. When you look at Nottingham Forest and Tottenham, who are having European football and it's hindering them this season. But I'm sure their fans would like a few European away days without a doubt. They take about 15 with them away, but all 15 of them would enjoy it. And so they've got to weigh up the situation, and Keith Andrews got to weigh up whether he goes full strength. And I mean, I won't entirely know whether they've gone full strength when the lineup comes out. We'll have to have a little look at what Brentford fans say, because they're a side like a Brighton, and I link them very much to a Brighton side who are challenging European football, buying players that no one's ever heard of and coming good. And no one expected Brentford to be in this position this season, but they are where they are. They're a very good side. We lost to them quite embarrassingly and convincingly at the London Stadium. We've still got to go there, of course, at the beginning of May to Brentford, but we were never in that game in, was it October? That was the mad week where we lost to Leeds as well, and just
Yeah.
completely fell apart in an experimental experiment from Nuno, which quite clearly didn't work. So I think it massively, Sam, depends on the way the two managers approach this. Do they make changes and prioritise Europe, or do they sod Europe and go full strength in the FA Cup? Do we go, sod this, we need to stay up? Or do we go, you know what, 2 games from Wembley, let's go all for it? We're not playing till next Saturday. Why not go full strength? It depends on certainly the approaches and sort of mentality from both managers, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think you look at where Brentford are in the league, and they're seventh, and the 6 teams above them are the 6 teams you'd expect to be in the top 6 positions at any stage in the season. And I think they'll probably be the top 6 that are in those top 6 positions coming into the season. It'll move around a little bit. I think that's obvious. There's other things going on up there, but 7th will be enough to get them into into Europe, because either City or Arsenal will win the cup next weekend, so that place goes to the league, and I think we're pretty much shored in now for the extra Champions League spot again. So we'll have 5 Champions League spots, plus then the 2 European places at least in the league, maybe even 3 with the FA Cup one possibly going in there. So they are currently in that position, and I think that would be the big thing for them as a club. Exactly the same for us. What is an FA Cup quarter final away at Man City, away at Liverpool, away at Arsenal?
I mean, to be
What's
fair,
that going
Sam,
to do for them?
I think both managers would rather see who we're playing in the next round before they put their lineup out, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think if that was the choice, and I think we would see very different lineups depending on what that is. If there's a route to Wembley, both teams are going to want to try and take that. But I think Brentford will make similar numbers of changes to us.
Yeah.
I think it'll be sort of 5-6 changes. I don't know what their squad depths are. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I was reading who their injuries are, and I was like, I don't know if they're starting players or not. I'd heard of Rico Henry. I was like, oh, I've heard of him, but he's
He's
injured.
always injured, though. He's always injured.
But yeah, as you were saying, I won't know whether it's a full strength side, a change side. We'll have to look and see what the stats are saying. But I think a little bit like when other sort of Premier League teams play Premier League teams, it's going to be who's got the better depth, because we're going to see quite a lot of the reserve, the players that are sort of hanging around the edge, the players that might be wanting to play for a position in that first team, sort of coming in and making some games.
But the bemusing part of it all is, I mean, it's the sort of construct of this Monday night game where we'll know who we're going to play in the next round, is that at 7 o'clock, when we're sat there having a decently priced pint of Stouffer Press, we'll know who we're playing in the next round. And if it comes out at Liverpool, I'm going to look at you and go, I just want to go home, to be honest. What's the point? But if I look at it and go, it's Leeds, or it's Norwich, or it's Port Vale, or it's Bristol City, or one of these sides, I'm looking at it, I'm standing up and going, you know what, let's do this, right? Let's go out for this. Let's win the next game. Let's get to Wembley. So I think for both sides, it's such a almost what comes before will impact what comes afterwards, in the sense of we'll know who we're going to play in the next round if we get through. If it's Liverpool or just Chelsea, I'll forget it. Like, honestly, like, why bother? Because we're going to lose in the next round anyway. But if Leeds comes out, I'm first of all thinking, I hope it's at home and definitely not away on a Wednesday night. But then thinking, right, okay, this is a accessible route through to Wembley, and I think the atmosphere in the London Stadium will be massively dependent on what comes beforehand, which is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But it's the situation that we're in terms of, elsewhere priorities with the relegation battle, and with Wembley as a semi-final, you know, venue, has a genuine prospect for West Ham. Let's have a look at the chat. Good evening to you all. Larry, I hope you are well. Thanks for joining us. Frog and well, hope you well. My priority is the Premier League. Rest Bowen, says Larry there. I'm in agreement with Sam. I think he'll make a QPR based level of changes. I think it will be 4-5-6. I don't think it'll be any more than 6. I think he'll understand that this is an important opportunity, but then again, I think Nuno will probably like to see who we have in the next round before he selects that team, but we don't have that luxury, I don't think. But we'll see. We'll see. What are the odds of us winning the cup? I mean, it's still long odds. We're still a fair distance away from it, but it's the closest we've been for a while. When the draw is open, in the sense of it is only Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Man United are gone. Man City are gone. Are they? Are Man City gone?
No, Man City is silly.
Man City is still in. Are
Bristol
they
City
playing
are
to
gone though.
Newcastle? Bristol City are gone, are they? Okay, so it's Port Vale. Is it Port Vale?
No, Port Vale beat them in the last round.
Port Vale beat them in the last round. That's very true. My apologies. So Port Vale
City
plays
are playing
Sunderland.
Newcastle at the moment.
Do you know what the score is?
It was 2-1 City when I last had a look. Still 2-1
is
City
2-1.
halfway through the second half.
Yeah, so it's half an hour to go there. So yeah, so sorry, Port Vale beat Bristol City in the week, didn't they? My apologies.
They're
So
playing
yeah, so you've got a Port Vale Sunderland. I mean, our record away at Sunderland isn't great, but we beat them at home pretty handsomely. So one of those, I mean, you all get the gist. If it's a Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, etc., we know what's coming. But if it's not, then an opportunity beckons, and it's a massive opportunity for West Ham. Frog and well, interesting thing to me is if we beat Brentford in the Cup with a reduced side, it bodes well for our Premier League game with them in a few weeks. Absolutely. I mean, it's a crunch game, and it could be at a crossroads where we literally could be at the relegation crossroads when we head to the G-Tech at the beginning of May. It's at the well and truly at the business end of the season, and that could bode well. One thing I will say, Sam, is that the players that were put out against Burton didn't exactly fill me with confidence, and none of them formed an argument as to why they should be starting over the normal starters. I was concerned by what I saw against Burton, and I think it's pivotal, whatever happens in terms of a draw, that we don't go 10, 11 changes, because we will get battered, because we were poor, really poor against Burton with that second-rate side.
Yeah, we were bad that day. I think we'd failed to take account for that Burton were going to play with 11 men behind the ball for the whole game. And really, we should have taken account of that, and we should have noticed it sooner in the game that we needed someone with a bit of quality to come on that can ping the ball through 4, 5, 6 players, can run around them, whatever, which ultimately is what ultimately what Somerville do. I'd love to see Sullivan give it a go.
Blimey, that would be a run on him on the right wing. Blimey.
Yeah. I haven't. No one's called that, have they, for the FA Cup?
No.
But yeah, that's what we needed was that little bit of Somerville magic to come on and change that game. I don't think even if we played that same team against Brentford, I think we would play better, because there would be spaces. There wouldn't be 11 men behind the ball, and with the best ball in the world, every team struggles against that, which is why those.
Yeah, I mean, for sort of 100 minutes, and every team was going to struggle against that. In that sense, we just simply didn't have the quality to break them down until a Somerville comes on and puts it in from outside of the box. It's as simple as that. It's not a difficult sort of game in that sense. We knew what they were going to do, and we simply didn't field the quality to penetrate them and get through them. And a sort of lineup at a team against Brentford is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a very different game to what we saw, obviously, against League One, the foot of League One, Burton Albion. The dynamic of the game is far different. So, it's going to be interesting in that sense. And I think, do you know what? I think it's going to be a pretty good indication of where we are as well, because Brentford are a team that have been fighting Europe, but have had a ropey few weeks, where they've began to lose games, and it's sort of slightly sliding for them. Where we're coming up against a sort of mid-table side in effect against us. And it's going to be a good indication, regardless of the changes we make. I think we'll make some changes, but I don't think it'll be widespread as it was against Burton. To see where we are in that sense. Of course, I mean, I would be putting Bowen, etc., on the bench for this game. They wouldn't be entirely rested like they were at Burton. Bowen and Souček and etc. should at least be on the bench for this game. Yeah, I mean, Larry's put his lineup, so he go for Areola. I think he'll start Areola. Yeah, Walker Peters
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Mavropanos, Kilman, Skulls, Magassa, Conte, Potts, La Madrid, Adama, and Wilson. It'll be something to that effect. That La Madrid didn't fill me with much confidence. But that's a lot of changes there. I think
Is that 11 changes?
that is. Yeah,
Oh
hold
no,
on.
10. Wilson remains.
Wilson remains, yeah, of course, because Mavropanos didn't play at the week, midweek, did he? So, yeah, I mean, I think I probably agree with the back line. I think that's probably what it's going to be. Maybe he'll go for one centre back out of Todibo and Disasi, but certainly one of Mav and Kilman will play. I think it'll be Scarves. I think it'll be Walker Peters.
I think if he
Magassa will
goes
be in
Charles
there.
Walker Peters, given that Fernandez picked up that knock, I think he'll go back 5 if he's going with Walker Peters
Really?
and
Yeah.
Stars. Just because I think we've seen that they aren't the best at keeping the width right and keeping to their positions. If you've got that extra man in there, they can sort of back that up. And that's my
I
only.
think he'll go for. I think he'll go for either. I think he'll go for Walker Peters at right back. I think he'll play him there. It'll either be Scholes or Mayers at left back. He loves Mayers, mind. He's on the program for Monday night. I don't think that has any relevance to it at all. But Mayers is on the program for Monday evening. It'll be either Scholes or Mayers. I think it'll be really harsh on Scholes to go for Mayers. But so yeah, I am in agreement. I think it'll be Walker Peters and Scholes. Magassa will worm his way in there somehow.
I think
It's
Magassa
then
will be.
I think it'll be Magassa, Souček, and Potts. To be honest,
That's what I've gone for.
I haven't seen enough from Conte. I mean, the game he played against Burton, I thought he was. To be honest, I don't like to slag youngster. I thought he was terrible against Burton. I really did, and he lacked. Of course, I mean, look, he brought him on against Fulham in a situation where we needed to just keep the ball, and he didn't keep the ball. Conte, he lacked a bit of experience in that sense. He needed to be told, look, let's just keep the ball here, get it to the corners, and sort of survive. And he didn't do that. But I'm not going to criticise him for that. He's a young player. I think he'll go Magassa, Souček, and Potts in midfield. I then think Adama will start. I'm not sure about Wilson, I think he'll go Tatty on his own up front. Wilson played midweek for an hour. I don't think he can play again from the start. So I'm going to go Adama and Tatty in a sort of front. But then Bowen, I don't know. Sam. What do you think?
So I've written down Areola, Mav and Todibo at the back with Walker Peters, and I think he'll stick with Jif.
Really?
Somerville and Bowen both to start, but I've put a question mark next to Bowen because it might be Traore. Potts, Magassa, Souček, and Tatty up top. Apparently, Pablo's back in training. I think this game would be too soon, unless he's thinking I'm definitely not going to play him against City.
That's the thing. Yeah.
In which case,
whether he's got an hour in him, he'll just play him now and forget about him for Saturday. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't surprise me to see him play a part in this game, maybe off the bench, but then not start against City, and we see that Wilson Tatty combo against City, just that bit more physical presence, and then we'll see Pablo back for the hopefully fully fit for the Villa game.
Yeah. I mean, dare I say, I've been a very big advocate of this 2 up top, but from where I was stood on Wednesday, the 2 up top was pretty dysfunctional. To be honest, whether he's gonna go with it again in the Premier League game, I'm not sure. Whether he'd go Wilson Tatty on Saturday against City, I commend it if he did, but something just wasn't quite right on Wednesday. Whether it was the way Fulham played, whether it was just that one-off game, but Wilson couldn't get himself into the game in that sense. And maybe he's going to go with 1 this game and 2 on Saturday. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions for Nuno to answer here, and we're sat going, I've got no idea what it's going to be. I mean, we could all pick a lineup what we'd like to see, but what Nuno's going to go with, how seriously he's going to treat it. We'll all have to wait and see. Peter, good evening. I predict if we get through, we will get either Arsenal, Liverpool, or Chelsea away. Staying up is more important than going out, possibly in the quarter-final. I am in agreement. And I think the mood will be set in the London Stadium half an hour before kick-off when we find out who the opponent in the quarter-final is. Froganoel says, if we can outpoint Forest over the next 9 games, we automatically survive. Spuds or Forest will drop themselves. I think we're the team with the momentum in the relegation battle at the moment. That's what I'm going to go with. Okay, Forest got a point at City on on Wednesday night, but Spurs are dropping like mad. And we can sit here and laugh about it all we like, but I watched them 1-0 up on Wednesday and thought, right, they're going to kick on here, and they capitulated. 1-0 up at home, they capitulated and lost 3-1. Spurs are going to go, I think. That's my prediction at this stage. I just cannot see past it. I cannot see how they're going to turn this around with the level of injuries they've got, with Van der Ven out for the next game. I simply cannot see how that just beacon of toxicity turns itself around, Sam.
For the first time in as long as I can remember, it's in our hands.
Yeah.
If we win our games, we stay up, because Tottenham and Forest have got to play each other. They can't both win that game. So it's totally in our hands. And I think that the mentality switch of that is huge, because actually for Forest and for Tottenham, it's arguably out of their hands. Okay, both of them, if they both win all their games, they will also stay up because they'll have beaten the other one of the two of them. Yeah. But they aren't as in control of it, I would say, as we are at this point. And the toxicity at Tottenham is where we were in November, December, when we were all dejected and we could not see a way out. And they have pulled, as had we at that point, to be fair, but they've not got a transfer window to happen. They have pulled every single lever they can. They've spent money. They've changed the side. They've brought players in, albeit I don't think they've done anything particularly. They've changed the manager. Other than changing the manager again, and I do think that at least one of Forest and Spurs will change their manager between now and the end of the season. There is nothing else for them to do to try and get some positivity. They've got Romero back, haven't they, now, who's been out for the last 3 games. But as you say, they've now got another player that's out. They are the team that are in dire straits. They are the team that have lost their fan base. They are the team that is... I think they're also the team that every single neutral wants to go down. So every other club that's playing them, they don't want Tottenham in the league next year, because Tottenham in the summer will spend 200, 300 million to try and make this team workable. And your teams that are just above us, your Leedses, your Brightons, Palaces, Sunderlands, Fulhams, etc., they've got to be worried about that, because they could well end up being that they can't spend that money. They will end up being dropped back into that sort of pot for next season. They all want to see Tottenham go, because West Ham aren't going to spend big. Forest can't spend big if they stay up. Leeds can't particularly spend big. It's got to be, for all those other things, it's got to be Tottenham that go. And I think that's just massive. I think that's really, really massive. But we'll see over the next sort of 2-3 weeks. We've got 2 tough games against top 4 sides in the next 2 games. We've got to get through those and see where we are, because we would expect to get no points from those on paper. Albeit that Villa haven't been great of late, but again, don't want to sort of jinx anything. We've got to see where we are. If Tottenham haven't picked up points in those games either, then they are really, really in trouble, because that's our tough games really gone at that point. We know we've got Arsenal, but you would expect us from that point to outscore Tottenham and Forest from that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the thing with Tottenham is that we all sat there and sort of laughed about it and thought, oh, they might go down, until Thursday night. And I watched them and I thought they are a side that looked destined for the Championship. No quality, no cohesion, no togetherness. The fans walking out, and it's exactly where we were in November of 2025. And I look at that and go, regardless of the status and the situation of a football club, purely on paper and by the team, they are the team that are at the moment in the worst situation and position. Oh, look, we'll come on to that. Larry, thank you very much for the super chat. That is very appreciated. Great Escape is still alive. It is. It is. And, this is a distraction to it. And I'm not going to call it an unwelcome distraction because in January, this kick-started our season, the FA Cup. So I can't sit here now and go, this is an unwelcome distraction because without that QPR game, I think we're probably down now. I think we're probably in a Burnley situation whereby we carry on playing games and we just cannot find a way to win. That QPR game brought back our winning mentality. It brought back our sort of understanding of how to win a football match because before that, we didn't have a clue. That Wolves game, that Forest game, those two games in the space of 4 days, I've never seen anything like it. We found a way out of that against a lackluster QPR side. So we can't sit here and palm it off because it's probably the FA Cup has got us a chance of survival indirectly in the QPR game. But look, we'll see. We'll see. Predictions. Peter's going as optimistic as ever for a 2-1 Brentford. 2-1 to West Ham, a couple of 2-1 West Hams coming in. Certainly don't want it to go to extra time. Whatever the result, we get tired as a team and seem to run out of steam late on in games. That is true. And when we've been relatively lucky with injuries through the season, when you look at Tottenham, who currently have 12 out, if you take 12 out of our team, me and you are playing a centre-back, Sam, to be honest.
I'm slightly better than Kilman, but other than that, I can't offer much.
But, I mean, you've got to look at that situation and go, look, if we took 7 or 8 or 6, 7 starters out and 5 sort of squad players, we've got nothing left. We've got the youth team, which are doing quite well at the moment, but still in the Premier League, let's be serious about it, we'd be gone, dead and buried. So we've been lucky with injuries. Pablo's the only one that's gone down for a significant period of time, and he's coming back relatively quickly in the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, you'd certainly expect Pablo back just before the international break against Villa, or certainly after the international break for the run-in, essentially, is what it's going to be. But we don't want any injuries in this game. You mentioned it earlier, Sam. Unscathed is the priority here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's got to be red cards as well. We've just lost Potts for 3 games. We lost to Debo for 3 games. Yeah. We lost Pakitara earlier in the season. I think that was also for 3 games, if I'm right. Yeah. We have not got the depth to be affording to get rid of starting lineup players for 3 games at a time. And I think we were quite lucky that it was Potts, who is on the fringes, probably isn't playing. He certainly wouldn't have been starting those 3 games, would have maybe come on as a sub or whatever. But yeah, we've not got the depth to afford that. And I think that will be part of the reason why some of the players get rested midweek, especially if we see Somerville or Bowen drop down to the bench.
Yeah, I think he'll drop one of them, Somerville or Bowen, and bring Traore in. I don't think there's an obvious replacement for the other one, so I think he'll go with one. It'll be one of Somerville and Bowen, and Adama will come in for the other that drops down to the bench, and that's just up to Nuno which one he picks in that sense. Kilman will start, says Peter. I think he'll probably get a game. I think he will. I think he'll play Kilman and Mavropanos and just hope, to be honest. Mandy says we're not winning the FA Cup. Let's stay in the Premier League and relegate Spurs. So there's the shifting priorities and dynamic. And I will be echoing that at 7:15 if we've got Liverpool away in the next round. I will. I'll sit there and go, take everyone off, play the youngsters, and worry about Saturday. I'd rather we get a point on Saturday if we've got Liverpool in the next round of the FA Cup than win against Brentford, because we know what's coming. It's just setting ourselves up for failure because we know we'll go to Liverpool and we'll lose, or we'll go to Man City and we'll lose. So it's massively dependent on what happens before the game, as we previously discussed, which is just bonkers. I get the feeling we're starting to click more consistently, but Claret and Blue, no, we are clicking, absolutely. I mean, we didn't play very well on Wednesday night. I'm not going to sit here and say we ripped up trees. We didn't, but the game was reduced down to a scrappy affair, and different to the Liverpool game, we were better in the moments that mattered. In the moments that mattered at Anfield, we fell short, but at Craven Cottage, we rose to the occasion and we won the game. And that's the confidence we've got to take into the coming games. What's this here? Jake buying a beer for 3. Everyone takes small sips so everyone gets. That's a great idea. So next time it's Sam Nigel and Mike or Gary in there, maybe between 4 of them, I'll just buy 1 pint and they can all have a little sip. That's a great idea. That's much better than buying 4 pints. Sam, don't you think?
And we'll do the same back. You can have shots and nothing else.
Well, that's dangerous, size. Dangerous. Wrexham did well. I mean, that tackle to go down to 10 men was ludicrous at that situation and gain context. I couldn't believe it as I was sat there drinking my pint of Strongbow. I was like, what is he doing? Honestly, what is he doing in that situation? Is it 3-1 now? Is it? Okay, it is. So Man City are through essentially. So, but again, I wouldn't have, I mean, if we'd have got Newcastle away in the next round, I'd have had a similar write off mentality just because I think we'd go out there and lose. So Man City at home, we beat them in the Carabao Cup a few years ago on penalties. That was in a very good era of West Ham. But yeah, again, if we could avoid Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea, that would be ideal. But easier said than done, isn't it? Here we go. We can confirm Jake did the best out of the family today at the Traitors, right? I had one of the traitors nailed down, but nobody listened to me, right? From round table 1 to round table 5, where I got banished, right? I got banished for being right. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Isn't it a stupid game, Sam?
Stupid. Don't know why no one watches it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was right from round table. And even Claudia, when I walked out of the room, her name wasn't Claudia, it was somebody else. She went, "It's so obvious, and you had it from the start." I was like, I know, but nobody listened to me. And the couple of people that did listen to me turned on me and stabbed me in the back on the last round table before the final. Ridiculous, right? Absolutely ridiculous. I had it in the palm of my hands. And people didn't listen. And then afterwards they were like, "Oh, you had it." Yeah, I did have it. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? Anyway, right, let's move on. Let's move on. Amazing how Wrexham have gone through the league without spending much on player. I mean, that story is bonkers, isn't it? Up to the championship and challenging to get up into the playoffs.
They were saying on the BBC 77 players they have signed in 4 years.
Is it?
So they were in the conference, weren't they? They went up to League Two, League One. Now they're in the Championship. They signed 77 players.
Wow.
So although they might not have spent the biggest bucks in the world,
they've bought players in.
Yeah. They have certainly made some signings.
Absolutely. I think he prefers Mayers to Skulls. I mean, I don't know. He loves Mayers. He brings him on in really bizarre situations, in tough environments. Mayers, Skulls. I mean, I'm going Skulls at left back on Monday, but he could go Mayers.
I don't know if I've got 90 minutes of either of them in my heart, to be honest, because I can guarantee you there'll be at least one opportunity in the first 5 minutes where they don't track someone back, where they don't take them out wide and they just sort of let someone into a box. And they both seem to do it. Skulls possibly slightly more so than Myers, but for everything good that they do, there is you're always waiting for them to make that mistake. And there's normally sort of 2 or 3 of them a game. And if you've got Kilman and Mav in the middle, that is asking to go 1-0 down.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm looking at Mayors and thinking of the Mayor's hurdle at Cheltenham on Tuesday and thinking which one I'm going to go for. But that is purely my life situation and thinking about how I'm going to make my millions at Cheltenham on Tuesday. Have you got faith in me, Sam?
Always.
Good work. Well, I mean, if the people had faith in me today, the traitors, the faithfuls would have won. But everybody had to stab me in the back. And anyway, moving on. Do we have to play Kilman? The comment of the night goes to Graham there. Do we really have to play Kilman? No, but I think you will. Is my answer to that question. Give Magasser a go at Sam. But I mean, that was a conversation that was circulating when we were in that crisis of, oh my God, we might have to play Kilman when Tanibo was out and elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it is what it is. Shane Forrest got a point on Wednesday night. That was nearly a perfect evening, nearly a perfect game week, midweek, but not to be. Not to be. I don't fear any team, even when our defence was bad. We was running teams close. Now we have sorted our defence. I can't see why we can't win more than we lose. We look a lot better than we did. There's no doubt in that. And we can win on Monday night, but we can also drop a stinker of a performance with players that we know are bad and go out with a whimper, of course, depending on who we have in the next round. Just imagine if we had held on against Man United, got the win we deserved against Bournemouth, what position we'd be in. I mean, even take away the Bournemouth game, just that Man United game. If we hold on against Man United, that's another 2 points, and it looks a lot rosier than it does now, Sam.
Yeah, we'd be right. We'd be right up there with Leeds on the outskirts of this thing rather than in the depths of it. But look, there are lots of games we could go back to this season and go with the what ifs. The Man United one, but look, it was Skulls that let that guy in to make that cross. We could go back to the Brentford game earlier in the season. We could look at the Leeds game earlier in the season. We could look at the 3 points we threw away against Forest, which would really have swung it. We did lose to Forest, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
We did. Yeah.
We gave away the shocking penalty and the other goal. If that would be a 6 point swing, it would be Forest who are really looking in dire straits. We'd be up there level on points with Leeds. There are lots of things that could have made this look very different, but we are where we are.
And yeah, I mean, to think over that Christmas period, we were sat here over Christmas, right? When we had was it Brighton, Fulham, Wolves, and Forest? We were saying, right, 8 or 9 points. 1 point over those 4 games against Brighton, arguably the best team out of them all. But that can be debated. Brighton, Fulham, Forest, and Wolves. We were saying 8, 9 points. 1 point. And we're still fighting, and we still have a chance now. It's a testament to how we've gone in the last month, sort of 6 weeks or so, ever since really that QPR game, which turned it around, ironically, in the FA Cup. Never seen an episode of The Traitors. Peter, you're missing out. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And if you'd have been in Covent Garden this afternoon, you'd have seen a proper episode of The Traitors as well. Well, Dad, you also voted for Sandra 5 round tables. I voted for Sandra 5 times. She won't be watching this, but Sandra, you were the most obvious traitor going, and nobody else listened to me. Honestly, Sam, you put goggles on, and the traitors pick who they want to murder as you're asleep with goggles on. I could hear her whispering, right? And nobody else picked up on it. And the 2 people that did also pick up on it just decided to stab me in the back at the last round table before the final, the end game, whatever they call it. I couldn't believe it. I was betrayed. I was right. And once again, I should have won. But the thickos decided to vote me out, and then the traitors won. There was only ever 3 traitors, and 2 of them won.
But you're not taking it to heart.
I'm not taking it to heart. I'm not taking it to heart. It's ridiculous. Honestly, some people just have got no idea at all. And they were all going to watch Mamma Mia tonight in the West End. Mamma Mia, here we go again. Precisely. Here we go again. You could sort of attach that to West Ham.
That's the best joke you've told in weeks.
Here we go again. Talking of my jokes, what's my book? I've lost. Where is the book? I don't even know where the book is. Prediction, Sam. Where's the book?
As you know, neither of us are wanting extra time for public transport and travelling commitments. So I think that's a given. I'm going for 2-1 after extra time to West Ham.
1-0 West Ham inside 90 minutes because I need to get to bed and then wake up at 4:30 to go to Cheltenham the next day. Right. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. That's brilliant, right? That is absolutely brilliant. How can you not laugh at that?
Yeah.
Did you not think that was good? Because I thought that was brilliant.
I preferred the Mamma Mia one a minute ago.
Here we go again. Jake's not bitter, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the win for the faithfuls in the palm of my hands, and they all decided to go, oh, you know what, Jake? Yeah, you're not right. We're just going to all stab you in the back and all vote for you. Like, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Put the joke book away, for heaven's sake. Jake, you are so funny. If you ignore the last part of that comment, which I'm doing, Peter, thank you very much. Jake, you are so funny. Said everybody. I need to break out. Honestly, this joke book is brilliant, and the irony of the person that bought me this joke book is just perfect as well, because the joke book is excellent, absolutely excellent. 25 letters in the alphabet. I don't know why. Brilliant, brilliant. But I don't know why this is an extended preview, but we've obviously had plenty to discuss. But we are going to leave it there because I'm sure Sam has got a television show to watch at 10 o'clock or probably bed to go to, as do I. It is right there. So thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. Don't buy the Christmas crackers. Jake has written them all. Too right. Too right. Sam, any final thoughts before we depart?
No, I just hope we play well. I think whatever the result is, it doesn't particularly matter. It's not going to affect our season, hopefully, overly. But we need to keep up the good performances. We can't let a change side or a loss in the FA Cup, if that is what it ends up being, affect our Premier League forms. We've seen it can have a positive impact. We know it can have a negative impact as well. So let's just get a good performance from the lads, and yeah, hopefully that'll be enough for us to come away with 3 points.
I mean, I don't like critical comments, but that is quite funny. The world's first sit-down comedian. Frog and a Wow, I'll give you a clap for that. That's quite good. That's quite good. Very good indeed. Night all top show. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all. I tell you what though, I did get the fright of my life today. We were walking through the darkness in the London dungeons, and there was this, what I presumed to be like just a sculpture puppet thing with a newspaper. The newspaper dropped, and I had this woman like very close to my face, and it's fair to say I was a little bit shocked and scared of
Did
that.
we get a
So
strain?
yeah, I think there was. Yeah, I will admit it. Yeah, it was a rather traumatic 5 seconds, but I survived. I survived. But Sandra's sat there right now in the flipping Mamma Mia. Here we go again. She was the worst traitor I've ever seen, but she went all the way through it because nobody was on my wavelength. Everyone was too thick to understand what was going on. She was giggling her way through it. She was the Fiona of the last season, Sam. I mean, you'll get that, but I'm not sure anyone else will. But she was so obvious. And I literally, the fifth round table, I put the thing down and went, Sandra, I'm voting for you because you are a traitor. Like, it's just simple. But nobody else got it, and I got voted out. Stood there, I went, I have and have always been a faithful, and I pointed at Sandra as I went out. And guess what? They still didn't cotton on. I mean, what more can I do?
What more can you do, indeed? I really hope Sandra watches this preview show.
I
Hi,
doubt
Sandra, if you're
Sandra.
watching.
I doubt Sandra from York is watching this preview. To be honest, she didn't strike me as an avid football fan, to be honest. But
You never know. You never know.
Sam, there was 13 in the group, and 10 of them were women. It was
I,
an
I,
interesting
I,
afternoon.
I was told, but look, we all know that's how you like to roll anyway.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. On that note, Sam's never coming back again. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. Go and check out the content from Fulham away. There is a quite good vlog there, if I do say so myself. It's pretty good. So go and check out the vlog and all of the content. I will be at probably quite near Sam on Monday night. So there'll be a vlog and all sorts of reaction depending on how many pints Sam buys me. Is depending on the quality of the vlog. It's all up to Sam, to be honest, because I've got another impending student accommodation fee to pay, so it's hard times, Sam. Unfortunately, it's hard times.
We'll see how many pints there are.
Minimal. Considering I've got a 4:30 the next morning, it'll be very minimal, I think. But we'll see. We'll see. Pie and mash will be the highlight, undoubtedly, of the afternoon. So, Sam, I will see you outside Mile End train station on Monday afternoon.
See you then, Jake.
From me and Sam, come on your irons, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.